1 mile will not fit her butt, each one of them, 1 mile. So imagine how big even your wife butt.
Assalamu alaikum and good greetings. So today we will be discussing about certain things that was stated by Christian Prince. Now this is one of the figure where it has been suggested a lot for me to call him, see his videos, debate him, etc, 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 right? So in the comment section his name comes a lot, right? So in this video we will try to see what he says and whether he says is accurate to the sources that he claimed to accurately portray, right? And before that we will go first into the context why I watched this specific video. So we'll start with that, right? So in one of my posted video, there's one YouTuber or commenter here that commented. It's a long thread of discussion, and so in one of the comments he stated this: in Islam, Muslims are promised to be rewarded of 72 virgins, that's one thing, and the slave boys act as sex slaves, right? So I'm highlighting here, right, because this is the first time I ever heard of this accusation. He stated, this commenter stated that in Islam, in heaven, there's this reward: slaves, boys as sex slaves. Na'uzubillah. Right. So I'm shocked. Where did he get this from? And second, where is the sources? Meaning, how does this even come into, you know, the perception of certain people, right? And I was shocked when I look at the videos, etc., that there's a lot of people that actually believe this is true. This is describing accurately what the Hadith says, etc. Right? So we will look into that. And I asked this commenter, where do you get this from? And along the line of comment, he gave this particular link, and this is the video that we will be watching. But before going into that video, because we will watch portion of it, but I have to apologize because this specific video, this is actually a different user that crop, or you know, just take a portion of, I think, a longer Christian Prince video just to log into this point that, see, this is how the reward in heaven for Muslim is described about, because in this portion Christian Prince focus on this specific thing, and I think they just want to highlight this, see how terrible it is, and that's why we will watch this specific video, because this video didn't put a link to the original Christian Prince video, right? So but this video, the thing is, let me see. Okay, this is the video and it doesn't look sharp. Why? It is because the quality that is available is only up till 240p, right? Unfortunately, I'm not sure what is this guy recording using something that have such a low resolution, but we will try. From the video itself, it's hard to get it clear, but when Christian Prince cited certain verses or hadiths, we will try to look up so that we have the clear verse, so we can have a proper discussion, right? So that's the premise. Let's go into it. So right now we will be listening to you know, a portion. Okay, what I'll do is we will listen portion by portion of what was being said by Christian Prince, and then we will look how accurate it is based on the primary source, right? So take a listen first.
We will talk about some surahs in the Quran, actually talking about that there is boys, very pretty, sexy boys, extremely sexy. They will be serving and doing entertainment service to the Muslims.
Okay, so that's the claim, right? Before we go to any justification from the video, right? So with his way of portraying stuff, it is not shocking then for to see the follower of Christian priests have that perception. Or he keep on emphasizing this boys, pretty boys, sexy boys, very sexy boys, etc. And we will see whether that is justified image based on the actual source, right? Or it's just his own thing that he imposed because he always think about pretty boys or something. He imposed on the verse, right? So let's see what verses that he used to create that picture. Right, so let's take a look.
Round them, about them will be served youth. They are very, very pretty. This is Surah 56, verse number 17. Now we can go and we will see the same verse in different shape, in different surah. Surah 52, verse 24. Round about them will serve devoted to them. You know, look at this, man. They are slaves. Youth handsomes as pearls, well guarded. Wow, they are extremely handsome and sexy. Extremely.
So, okay, there's two verses that was highlighted, and if you catch, right, meaning the when he go through the verse itself, is there any portion that actually says sexy, something like that, or he imposes onto the verse, right? We will take a look at that verses, right? So there's two verses that was highlighted. Let me take a look here. The first is from Surah Al-Waqi'ah, Surah 56, verse 17. Okay, so this is 56 verse 17, right? Yatufu alaihim wildanun mukhalladun, right? So this is the first verse that he cited. Yatufu alaihim. So what is this verse talking about? Basically, it is talking about the reward in paradise, in heaven. All right, so that is correct. So we will take a look at the context first. Ulaikal muqarrabun. Those are people who are nearest to God, right? Fi jannatin na'im, in the gardens of pleasure in paradise. Sullatum minal awwalin. Many of them are from the awwalun. Wa qalilum minal akhirin, and small of them from the later generation, right? So this is discussion on this level of people. Most of them are from the early generation, and hopefully I'm among the few that is, inshallah, all of us Muslim, inshallah, that is striving here is from this wa qalilum minal akhirin, right? Ala sururim mawduna, right? So this is the one of the reward on the thrones that is decorated, right? So we will just go browse through. Muttaki'ina 'alaiha mutaqabilin, right? So this is the state of relaxation there, right? We're reclining on them, on those chairs, decorated chairs, right? Facing each other, mutaqabilin, right? All those who are rewarded, we are facing each other. So this is relaxing together, right? This is the verse. Yatufu alaihim wildan mukhalladun, right? Then surrounding us is wildan mukhalladun, the boys that is mukhalladun, that is immortal. That's translation mukhalladun, khalidina fiha, khuld, right? The meaning that is everlasting or eternal, right? So you can see also there the translation eternal. They are everlasting, they are eternal boys, right? They are not boys, because this we are talking about the creation of Allah that is made for that purpose, right? It doesn't go old, etc., because heaven is eternity, right? So this is boys or youth will done, right? The youth that are continue to be useful, serving us, right? Bi akwabin wa abarika wa kasim min ma'in, and then they give us drinks, etc. The drinks do not intoxicate, and then whatever fruits that we wish, etc. So this whole thing is about the rewards, right? So one of the things that is highlighted is about the servant, right? The server, okay, sorry, the server, those who serve drinks and food, right? He is focusing on that and trying to paint a picture about those server, right? If you look at how one of the implication of these images is one that commented on my channel that says this is sex slave, boy sex slave, something like that, right? Na'uzubillah. Where did he get it from? So we're trying to see, but I'm showing this for you to see the verse that Christian Prince uses, whether it gives you any of those images. This, because the context is these are serving food and drinks. Where do you get the idea of this is sex slave or whatever, right? So that's one thing. And then he continues to another verse, which is from Surah 52, verse 24. 52:24. Okay, here. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Wa yatufu 'alaihim ghilmanun lahum ka'annahum lu'lu'um maknun. Yatufu. Okay, this is the same word, right? Those who are, rewarded will be surrounded with boys, useful boys. For them, okay, ka'annahum lu'lu'um maknun. Okay, this is as if they are pearls that are well protected, right? So of course you can see here like a spotless pearls, or if they are well protected pearls, right? So for those who are pure-minded, etc., right? So because he tried to take this how to say, what is the word, meaning that the state of the servers, he want to drag it into something else, right? When we see here, it is when we see that is as a well protected pearls, so it is in that pure pristine state, right? And because in this worldly, meaning where do you get this kind of servers, etc.? It's, I don't know, you take boys from underprivileged place, etc., and you make them that. So this is nothing like that, right? So this is something that is created just to serve you, right? They will serve you, etc. So what they serve, so again is the same, similar. Okay, let's start with wa amdadnahum bifakihah walahmin mimma yashtahun. So those who are enjoying this will have fruits, fawakih, right? Fruits, and lahm, meat, right? Mimma yashtahun, whatever they desire, right? Yatanaza'una fiha ka'san, so they will pass one to another cup. La lahum fiha wa la ta'sim, right? So now you will see a lot of verses like this that distinguish or separate the images in heaven from whatever you may possibly think of in this world, right? When people pass around glass of drinks, if you ever start to imagine, is it like a, I don't know, pub, or people where people drink in this worldly life, where you have the surrounding of whatever? Allah say no, there's no such thing, meaning that that place is not filled with people with ill speech, with filthy mouths, etc., that tend to be in that worldly low, worldly pleasure that people seek, something like that, right? Wala ta'sim, and there's no such sin. It's not a sinful place, right? It's a pure place, right? So this enjoyment is pure enjoyment. It's not like whatever filthy place that you can find in this world. And then with that environment, yatufu alaihim ghilmanul lahum. So this use, the server, they are in these images, right? So meaning that this is a pure state to serve you, to give you enjoyment of heaven, right? So if you put in that context, you will never have any image like Christian Prince state, right? I'm not sure what kind of image he think of when he think about drink, etc., that leads to him to always say boy sexy, very pretty, very sexy, blah blah blah. He keep on emphasizing. And here lahum, right? The servers, for them, this is special, meaning dedicated, because that's the word that Christian Prince, if you notice, he emphasized dedicated, and then he says this means slave or something. But you have dedicated server, meaning that the server attend only for you, right? Meaning at a very high class place, even in this world, that's the level of service. For example, it's not just one server serving all. Okay, for this table, you, right? We have that kind of concept. This is far beyond that, obviously, but those images are about that, right? It's not about that boy. Oh, that boy is specially for you, so he's slave for you. That, and then you combine with sexy whatever to create an image to fool those who already want to believe that Islam think in a certain way, or Islam teach in a certain way. I thought so, right? So that is sometimes I wonder whether, because Christian Prince seems to know Arabic, so does he make mistakes mistake after mistake after mistake, or he know how to play around with these things to create a certain images for those who not worship him, but those flocks of people that watch him and totally absorb all the things that he said and really take it as, meaning I have come across a lot of comments that keep saying that you don't know your Islam, right? Christian Prince know more, right? I have come on, right? Now, so those are the two words. Coming back to what he said, right? So that's the portion about, and he has never established where in the Quran, because there's two verse that he keep on pushing about to paint a picture about boys in heaven, boys that is serving in heaven. What is the image that he wanted to paint? He takes only from that two verse and he stretch it to go to something pure, to something that I don't know how he understand it, but he managed to do it based on that commenter on my channel there, when he say convincingly, meaning he is totally convinced, he is so confident that Islam teach that in heaven you have boys that is sex slave, right? How do you jump to that? Of course, meaning from this perspective, because maybe I try to find the snapshot, right? Some comment that Christian Prince is a genius, right? on one of my video. I asked why is he genius. Maybe he is a genius because he can fool people simply by putting all of this stuff, and a lot of people actually convinced that Islam is a certain way due to his way of manipulation, right? Now let's take a look further on what he says also in this same video, right?
Now this is a hadith. This is the book of Musnad Ahmad, the book of Baqi Musnad al-Muktharin, Baqi al-Musnad al-Sabiq, hadith number 10511.
Okay, so Musnad Ahmad 10511, right? So let's take a look at can we find that hadith? Okay, I did try to find a hadith site that have this hadith and translation in English. Unfortunately, I cannot find, but this one is having a Malay translation. But regardless, we will just focus on the hadith, and we'll have the translate portion of it. And I'm just wanting to highlight a certain portion because he used this hadith to spew, and I think I will not cover all, because he just says that, oh, so your heaven serve you like 300 meals a day, you will be fat, etc. So those kind of thing I don't think I need to refute, because he is just taking the image that is beyond this world to bring it back to this world. That's nonsense, right? Heaven is a place where, meaning the laws that Allah created for this world does not apply there. Allah created a different law there. Here we grow old, there we do not, right? So you cannot just say, when this hadith says you have so many, how many ever food that you want, whatever variation, you can never taste the same food ever again, because everything will taste deliciously different, etc., etc. So that's just to describe the extraordinary and joy or pleasure there. You cannot say that he keep on saying that, oh, so you become so fat, etc., etc. Those things I'm not interested. But there's a portion where he drag it back to a certain way. Just have a listen and try to see whether, if you have understanding of basic Arabic, you might notice something. But if you don't, we will discuss it after. So let's hear this first.
If you read, he's saying there, and each Muslim will have 72 women, each one of them, her butt is 1 mile size. وإن له من الحور العين 72 زوجة سوى أزواجه من الدنيا وإن الواحد منهن ليأخذ مقعدها قدر ميل من الأرض. And each one of them he will have 72 women, in the top of them his wives in heaven, and each one of them her butt is going to be 1 mile size as size. ليأخذ مقعدها قدر ميل من الأرض. 1 mile will not fit her butt, each one of them 1 mile. So imagine how big even your wife butt.
So did you catch anything there, right? How he cited something and then how he sometimes suddenly bring to something else. Do you catch it where he play meaning? I don't know whether he make a mistake because he have these images in his desire or something. I want that, and then see, this is the description that he imposed it, or he know what it means but he twist it around to fit a narrative. So we'll take a look at the hadith, right? So this is the hadith, and the focus that he highlighted at the end is I believe this one, the ending one, right? Wa inna lahu min hawril ain. So that's hawril ain. Lasnaini wa sab'ina zawjah siwa azwajihi min ad-dunya. I think he made a slight error that the wife in dunya, actually not wife in heaven, right? So the wife in dunya becomes the head there. Anyway, so here's the portion, right? Wa innal wahida minhun, one of them, la ya'khuzu maq'aduha. So here is, I'm not sure, because the first, before he read in detail, he said her butt is 1 mile or something, right? So if he is being honest and well disciplined in transmitting knowledge or something, right? You would expect that, okay, so the hadith did say butt, right? Because he said that the hadith says the butt is 1 mile. Is there any word but there? If you know Arabic, please find out where there's the word but there. That's number one, right? If you translate this, right? If you copy this and then you go to Google Translate, for example. So I have done it here. So I'll just paste it back. Okay. So because this one, okay, that's the portion. In al-wahida, and one of them, wahidata minhun, one of the many, right? La ya'khuzu maq'aduha, right? To take her seat, qadarun, with the ratio, with the scale of mil, 1 mile, min al-ard, from earth, from earth, right? Or from the ground, if you translate there. So is this giving the same impression as to what he stated? And if you go to the hadith, where is it? This maq'aduha, right? Maq'ad, what does it mean? Maq'aduha, her seat, right? Or maq'ad is seat. Ha is back, going back to her seat, right? Right. So is the statement of seat, right? So okay, so one thing is the hadith never say anything about but later I think he tried to, because he already read in the detail. So I think he already know that, okay, maybe someone pick on the seat. So he tried to impose that the seat state implies the but state, right? If so, he said something like, even 1 mile cannot fit the but. Who think this have anything to do with that, right? When it says that, because if you go to the description, right? It's such a high place, etc., etc. So meaning that your hurun in and your wife is at such a high state, right? And then her place is 1 mile up, right? So that's just a description. Of course, we cannot, meaning in Islam we know that the heaven is nothing like what you can imagine, what you have ever seen, what you have ever heard of, what you can even imagine. It's beyond that. Not, if you can imagine, it's still normally within what is possible in this world, but that is beyond and beyond. But all of this description is just to see, to show a glimpse of how high it is, right? So when the status of this, her seat is even 1 mile up from the ground. How is that give you the mind to think about the size of the butt as a 1 mile, right? So I'm not sure whether because when the ayat of the Quran about the boys in a pure state, he suddenly think of very, very sexy boys. I'm not sure whether he have that craving or something that lead him to always think about that, and then suddenly here he think about the size of butt when it's has nothing to do with that. So whether he made a mistake and let whatever is in his desire or in his, you know, something that occupy his mind always, that becomes part of how he sees the verse, or he had a narrative and tried to fit everything into that narrative, right? He already have, okay, anything I have to lead to that point because I want to paint this picture. So I'm not sure. I do not know him personally. I haven't seen many of that his video yet. But so far I have seen like 3 or 4 videos of him always have this same case like this, always have the same issue. So that's why I asked, when someone asks, is there any video that you think conclusively show that he knows Islam and he represent the true verses? Please show it to me, because those who have been suggested to me by Christian suggest, okay, look at this is one of the video, right? This is the issue. I'm not making this up. I'm just, okay, suggest to me the best video you can find of Christian Prince, and we can see if he is telling the truth. He's telling the truth. If he twisting things up, it puzzles me. The best of videos that always Christians show to me always have the same issue of either he imposed certain things from his mind onto the verse because he is thinking of that, I'm not sure, or he have a way to manipulate things, because that's the 2 possibilities that I can think of why this happened, why that verses leads to this discussion. So if you have any other video that you think that, this is the video that is the best of Christian Prince, where because most of Christians says he knows Quran, he show in the screen the Arabic text. Yes, he show, but you unfortunately, those who are watching, are not familiar with it, so you just follow and assume whatever he says with his mouth as if it represents the verse, right? And we have seen, this is not the first video that I have made about Christian Prince. I think there's 2 before. It's always have the same issue, right? So I'm open. I'm not judgmental of him. I do not know his background. I do not know him. I do not know his agenda. I do not know what is his issue. But if you can point, okay, in this one he is very solid. He didn't make any mistakes, etc. I want to learn. I want to know what makes him so great that always people point towards him, right? Wallahu alam. Allah knows best. I do not know much. I'm not a scholar, but this is basic. This doesn't need a scholar to refute. This is just, I mean, so that's my disappointment, right? Because the way people comment about him is like, wow, he is, no scholar of Islam want to debate him. Oh my God, he must be such, that's the impression. But the video that people have suggested for me to see, it just fall flat. It's just either he always make terrible mistakes because something that is already inside is being imposed on the verse, or he have a specific agenda that he do not care for what actually is the verse. He just want to paint a certain picture for you to have a conclusion as if that is true Islam, that is from Islamic sources. Wallahu alam, Allah knows best. That's the video for today. I'm not sure how long this is, but hopefully it is beneficial, and hopefully for those who are commenting down, because some comment, why are you making go debate him if you are true? But take consideration of the points. Take consideration of the points. Evaluate for yourself, right? Wallahu alam. Thank you very much. See you next time.